Hi and welcome back to another flight review. Today we're reviewing British Airways' old business class product on the A380. I have a review on the channel of the new club suites, which I absolutely love. But how does the old business class stand up when it's on many of their planes today? This trip starts in Rome, Italy, where our early morning departure was delayed due to late boarding of our aircraft. This was unfortunate since the plane was available at the gate from the night before, but somehow we boarded late and therefore we missed our takeoff slot by the time that we were ready for departure. This led to an hour delay on the ground, which meant that many people had missed connections due to this delay. Unfortunately, due to this delay, my flight that would have been on the new club suites on a refurbished 777 is now on the old business class on the A380. Many people on my flight were downgraded to this old product due to this delay. To British Airways' credit, they had staff waiting at the gate when we arrived at Heathrow, with new boarding passes already printed out to make this as a seamless rebooking process. However, since we were booked last minute, my private window seat on the club suite turned into an aisle seat right outside the lavatory for a 10-hour flight. Is our old business class product still worth it? Let's find out as we board this beautiful bird. British Airways plans to refurbish the A380s with the new club suites, which is great news to hear since this is a beautiful bird to fly. However, on the upper deck, business class is laid out into a 2-3-2 configuration, and the lower deck has, I believe, a 2-4-2 configuration, which is just extremely outdated, especially compared to their club suites that they offer now. As you see, my seat is located right next to the lavatory. It is an aisle, but it is very awkward since the middle seat next to me, the individual is facing backwards looking at me, and there's a person on his other side, and it's just a very open, not really private, pretty tight seat that I truly was disappointed to be in for the next 10 hours, even though it is always a privilege to fly business class. My only criticism of British Airways would be to hopefully upgrade these birds as quickly as possible, since the club suites have been out for a couple of years now. We look at today's menu and it's pretty average for British Airways. I think the catering was great on this flight. There were no issues with the food. The service was really great, and everything went well on the soft product, not including the seat. However, the seats, not to beat a dead horse here, my power outlet did not work for 10 hours. Neither did the 3 people next to me. Unfortunately, the lady next to me, her seat would randomly stop reclining, and the crew would have to fight this seat to manually operate it for the entire 10-hour journey. And because this is a fully booked flight, there were no other seats to go to. The lavatories are big here on the upper deck of the A380s, but unfortunately British Airways doesn't do anything spectacular like other A380 flights. They don't have a bar, they don't have a lounge, they don't have a seating capacity for that. They rather have more seats than have a bar, which is a little disappointing compared to what other airlines have done for their product. Again, the service was great. Here's the mini bar that was always stocked, and the flight crew were great in asking if you needed anything. The bed just was narrow. It was extremely uncomfortable. It was extremely awkward. And if you need to get up, if you're not in the aisle, you have to jump over someone else's feet if they're laying down. The privacy divider is nice when it's up, but for takeoff and landing, it's extremely awkward. And this kept coming down a couple times inadvertently, and it just kind of would wake either me or my seat neighbor up. And as you see, I'm basically in the aisle, and the curtains is where the bathroom is. Just, for how much business class is being charged today, this is just not really a great look for British Airways. There you see my power outlet is red. It would not work for the flight. The IFE is pretty outdated on these planes, and especially considering if you do your due diligence and you book the new club suites, sometimes the club suites cost more depending on the timing, and for one small delay of not even an hour, you could have a very different experience. As much as I love the club suites on the A350 review I have, this kind of makes me hesitate a little more when booking British Airways, because I don't want to have this experience again, and I don't want to pay for this experience. I think the way I mitigate this is just have a long connection time. just to give some more buffer. This was the shortest connection I've ever really had in Heathrow. I believe it was an hour and a half, but still, with the hour delay, it just made it not possible. Or alternatively, you could fly American Airlines or one of their oneworld partners that has a more standard seat selection. The second meal service was pretty good too. They served almost a full second meal as we landed here into Los Angeles International. Overall, great flight. British Airways, doing the best they can, but I really hope they refurbish these birds as soon as possible. Stick around for a first class review of British Airways, which I think takes the cake.